This is Optimal Finance Daily, episode 1548, How to Clearly Define What You Actually Want, Part 1, by Nick True of mappedoutmoney.com. And I'm your host and personal finance enthusiast, Diana Merriam. This is a show where I read to you from the best personal finance blogs on the web, with the author's permission, of course. And if you're looking for some financially minded friends, check out the Facebook group I run called For the Fi Curious. This is a joint group between Optimal Finance Daily and the Economy Conference, which is an event I produce. In this group, we aim to inspire you on your path to financial independence. So I like to share interesting articles, quotes, and thought-provoking questions to ponder together. I'm also posting questions that come in from this show's listeners in the Facebook group. So it's a great opportunity to participate in the discussion and hear from other money nerds. Just search for Optimal Finance Daily and you'll quickly find the Facebook group called For the Fi Curious. And I have a bit of a longer post today. I'll read the first half today and then finish the rest for you tomorrow. So let's dive into the first half and start optimizing your life. How to Clearly Define What You Actually Want, Part 1, by Nick True of mappedoutmoney.com. In 1967, in a small town in New Jersey, Marty LaCourie became the third American high schooler to run a mile in under 4 minutes. He then went on to compete in the 1968 Olympics as a 19-year-old and was the youngest person to ever compete in the final. But how did he do it? How could someone at that age have enough training to run that fast? In an interview with Dr. Joanne Dalcotter, Marty told her, "I have always believed if you want to be a champion, you'll have to win every race in your mind 100 times before you win it in real life that last time." After the interview, Dr. Dalcotter went on to discuss the importance of actually visualizing the outcome you want. You see, before Marty ever ran that sub 4-minute mile, he had already done it 100 times in his mind. When he finally got ready to run, it was no big deal because he had done it before. I know this may sound a bit odd, but this sort of visualization is actually super common among elite athletes. This visualization gives Olympic athletes something that most people don't have: clarity. Olympic athletes are super clear on what they want and where they're going. Marty is a perfect example of this. Once he had the direction, it just became a matter of following through. And this sort of clarity isn't just for athletes. It works the same way in other areas of your life. Whether it's health, finance, or your career, getting super clear on where you want to go is the first step to actually getting there. The importance of clarity. How in the world will you get to where you want to go if you don't even know where you want to go? One of the biggest reasons people aren't satisfied with their life is because they haven't even taken the time to think about what they truly want. Take your own life, for example. When was the last time you sat down and really thought about where you want to go in the next year? What you would like your life to look like in 6 months? Then what did you do? Did you write it down or did you just let it slip to the back of your mind only to be forgotten later? See, that's the problem. Most of the time we slip into living life by default. We slide into a routine of going to school or going to work and then coming home and binge watching Netflix. Then we get up and do it all over again. Before you can actually make step towards that dream trip through Europe, you've got to get super clear on whether or not that's what you really want. You've got to bring it to the front of your mind and think about all the great things that will happen. If you're not super clear on what you want and where you want to be, you'll never get there. And I'm not talking about goals or obstacles. Those are things that help get you where you want to go. I'm talking about the outcomes. I'm talking about the destination. Here's an example of what I mean. Your outcome isn't that you want to lose 20 pounds. The outcome is that you want to be healthy, fit, and feel comfortable in that swimsuit. Losing 20 pounds is just the obstacle you've got to cross to get there. It's the goal that will help you achieve the outcome. It's the same way with money. Your outcome isn't to get out of debt. The outcome is to be able to afford that dream house. After you get clear on the dream house you want, then you can focus on removing the debt obstacle. Stacking Benjamins wrote a fantastic article on this idea of how getting out of debt shouldn't be your goal. Getting out of debt is just a hurdle you must jump in order to reach your goal. Money doesn't matter. While we're talking about getting clear on the outcomes, it's also important to realize that money is never the outcome. When it comes to money and clearly defining what you want, you need to remember that the money doesn't matter. It's what money allows you to do that matters. Money gives you freedom to create a life you want. It gives you the ability to bless others in ways you never thought possible. It opens doors that allow you to reach for those dreams and experiences you want to have. Money doesn't matter. Freedom is what matters. If all you want is to have a ton of money, you're going to have a really hard time getting it. Why? Hear that in tomorrow's episode. You just listened to part 1 of the post titled How to Clearly Define What You Actually Want by Nick True of mappedoutmoney.com. This article reminds me of how jealous I am of people who have a lot of clarity around what they want. I know many people who are so clear on their why for FI. They want to be financially independent so they can spend more time with their kids, travel the world, start their own business, etc., etc. The only thing I really feel strongly about is that I want peace of mind, and I want the freedom to explore options and not worry about money while I seek out that peace of mind. For me, what I want is an ongoing and ever-changing exploration. So if you're like me, where clarity eludes you or only stays around for a short while, I'd encourage you to just get comfortable in the uncertainty and to stay curious. I'd also recommend long-form journaling, which has been a good outlet for my curiosity. I remember a few years ago during a lull in my career, I was considering what other work might excite me. I thought maybe I needed a change, but I had no idea what I wanted to do. However, I did know how I wanted to feel. So I wrote this long journal entry about how my work would feel and what the interactions with my colleagues would be like and how I would show up every day. I got really excited and inspired while writing it, and I still refer back to it often. What's fun about this exercise is that my life is slowly shifting towards this ideal in very unexpected ways that I couldn't anticipate when I wrote that journal entry. I don't think getting clarity is something that you do once and then put aside as you charge towards what you want. I think this is something we're going to revisit time and time again as we move through life. Well, that should do it for today. Have a happy rest of your day and great weekend, and I'll see you on the Sunday show tomorrow, where we'll finish up this post and where your optimal life awaits.